Good morning, everybody, and a happy Tuesday morning to you. A big thank you to the Royal Rogue on Twitter for this picture you're looking at above. We have a lot to talk about. Thomas Markle Jr. is writing a book. Meghan Markle and Harry want to do a Netflix docuseries on Diana, big stuff there. There's a lot of big stories in here, which is why we have another really long video. So let's just jump in and get busy, shall we? Let's go. We're starting, I discussed this with you the other day, but the new English glamp site on King Charles's royal estate with safari tents and the pop-up food vans is now open. They're saying that these safari tents are fit for a king. It is set in the pine forest. There's these tents, it's part of the experience, but it's just amazing. The tent has 3 bedrooms. It sleeps 6 adults and 2 children, and even comes with a fancy bathroom that has a double shower and underfloor heating. There are also premium tents that sleep 5 and deluxe ones that sleep 6. There's a sofa, there's a TV, there's a kitchen, microwave, dishwasher, dining table, and a wood-burning stove in case it gets cold. And the people that went to stay that are reporting, their favorite hangout was the spacious wooden veranda, which overlooks the scene of the forest, which they said was just like Disney. While you can't go to Sandringham and take a peek, it is a 40-minute walk from the campsite to the house, or a 5-minute drive, and it's open to the public April and October. And let's move on to Queen Camilla. She was on Saturday attending the final day of the Ebor Festival in York. We know what a huge fan of racehorsing she is. She's been patron of the race course there since June of 2024. So, of course, she interrupted her annual summer holiday in Balmoral to attend the festivities. There was a salute from the RAF Falcons display team at the start of the racing program, and throughout the day they're saying Camilla chatted to fellow racegoers and met representatives of local charities supported by York Racecourse. She looked absolutely gorgeous, and she also looked, from the facial expressions, like she was really getting into the race. Now, after the race was over, of course, the Queen presented the trophy to jockey, his last name is Murphy, after Never So Brave, that's the name of the horse, won the Sky Bet City of York Stakes Golden Handshake. What a fabulous race. And I'm very glad that Camilla was able to step away from Balmoral and her activities on Saturday to go do this. All right, let's move on. So the next day, on Sunday, Catherine and William and the children were spotted driving to the church service. We all know that it's the same church that they go to all the time. So William was driving, Catherine was sitting to the side. And I don't know if it was the light, the way the light was going through, but Catherine's hair looked very, very light, almost blonde, which, listen, she could pull off blonde without any difficulty, but she looks like she's gone completely, obviously not platinum blonde, but blonde. Now, in the back seat, behind the driver, William, you could see Charlotte. She looking mighty fierce, I might tell you. In the middle seat was sitting Prince George, and all the way to the right was sitting Prince Louis. We know that the whole family has gathered together at Balmoral for their summer holiday and break. This is where they can let their hair down, go fishing, go hunting, do whatever they want, and not have to worry about the intrusion of the press. I'm just shocked at how big Prince George is getting. Now, the Balaclava, I hope I'm saying that right, company formed a guard of honor at the church for the family to walk through. Of course, we saw Charles and Camilla arriving. They looked lovely. I loved Camilla's hat. We've seen that one before with the feather on it. She looks very stylish. And then, of course, the rest of the family arrived in the other cars. We had Princess Anne. She was in the passenger seat. Driving the car was Sir Tim Lawrence. And if you notice, between the two of them in the back, sitting in the middle, you see Sophie. And then to her left was her husband, Prince Edward. Unless I'm mistaken, I didn't get a really good picture of it, but unless I'm mistaken, on the other side of Sophie was sitting Lady Louise. It's kind of hard to tell, but I do believe that that was her in the car. And of course, as the service ended, we saw pictures of the family leaving the church area as well. And of course, it didn't escape my notice that Andrew was not spotted with the family. Again, you guys know my opinion on this. In a private capacity with the family, he should be able to go to church. People get so upset. And my thought process is, if you really think he's that bad, surely church is where he belongs anyway. So I understand why people don't like him, but again, if he's that bad, church is where he belongs. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce. Just barely on what you could see, she found out what Sophie and Princess Catherine were wearing. Now, people did talk again about Prince Andrew and the fact that he appears to be snubbed from the church service. He was seen driving near Balmoral Castle an hour before, and they're thinking that he skipped the service because he wasn't seen returning. It could be that William told him not to come because he didn't want pictures of them together. That's very possible. Just as an FYI, Andrew and Sarah are staying a half a mile away from the king in, I hope I'm saying this right, Craigowin Lodge. It is a 7-bedroom lodge, and it was one of the late Queen Elizabeth's favorite boat holes. And it's within walking distance of a 9-hole golf course. And apparently Beatrice and Eugenie and their children are going to join there later. All right, oh my goodness, this is one of our bigger stories for today. Apparently, Meghan Markle's half-brother, Thomas Markle Jr., aged 58, is now writing a book from the Philippines where he's living with Thomas Markle Sr. He said, when my book is finished, it's going to be swooped up real quick because it's getting there. Yeah. He said, I'm working on it. It's coming out and it's going to be good. He even expects his book about Meghan will spin off into other productions. He says, I really want the spin off of this book. Then when the book gets read, the documentary will follow. I'm not a greedy person, he said. It's not about money. It's about principle. Although, he said it would be nice to have a little cushion from selling a book. He says everybody wants the book, and now he has the time to write it while he's taking care of Thomas Markle Sr. You know, in the Netflix series, when her first one came out, Thomas Markle Jr. said that she was telling stories about her childhood. He said, this is probably the first time I felt sorry and embarrassed for her. When asked whether his father watched the show, Markle Jr. replied, I didn't have enough heart medication for him to watch it. I didn't want him to kick the bucket, so I'd have to go refill the prescription before I let him watch it. Now, what he's talking about is the fact that Meghan said she was a latchkey kid who grew up with a lot of fast food and TV tray dinners, and she grew up on the $4.99 salad bar at Sizzler, and how her family was poor. That's what she said in a letter that she wrote to U.S. politicians, asking them to consider paid leave for parents. But on the claim that she grew up poor, Thomas Markle Jr. said that's another one of the malarkey stories that she sold to the royal family for sympathy. We weren't poor, and she did not have to rub 2 nickels together at the Sizzler salad bar. It's well known that Meghan was raised in middle-class comfort in a California suburb of Woodland Hills in a home that Thomas Markle, who was an Emmy Award-winning light director, bought before Meghan was born. He sent her to Hollywood's private Little Red Schoolhouse, where old students were like Elizabeth Taylor and Judy Garland, where staff fed students from 6 different types of organic vegetables from the school garden. She grew up in the lap of luxury. Even the Tig showed her up to be a liar. She went to dance classes. She had tap classes. She had ballet classes. Her father paid for everything. He bought her a car. She was not poor. And quite frankly, I think Thomas Markle Jr. has had enough of his father being slammed when all he did was provide her the best life possible. He even gave her basically her acting career by making sure that she got her first acting job. That was totally his doing. Now, seeing how Samantha's book caused all kinds of a ruckus and now there's a lawsuit, it'll be interesting to see what Thomas Markle Jr.'s book says. I'll keep an eye out. Let's move on. Now, this story, this book that's coming out, a lot of people they're saying would have preferred that it not be written, including the Yorks. But the author of this article said, this is something I never thought that I would do. I feel sorry for Andrew. Apparently, after the book, it's invoking a lot of sympathy for Andrew. Well, he's going to need it because it's coming out now that Virginia Giuffre wrote a tell-all autobiography before she unalived herself, and the family is going to publish it. The name of the book is Nobody's Girl, a memoir of surviving abuse and fighting for justice. It is scheduled for release on October 21st, according to the publisher. Now, we know that this woman unalived herself in April at the age of 41. She'd been working on Nobody's Girl with author-journalist Amy Wallace and had completed the manuscript. It's 400 pages. Now, the publisher's statement includes an email from Giuffre to Wallace a few weeks before her death, saying that it is her, quote, heartfelt wish the memoir be released regardless of her circumstances. I think she knew what was going to happen. She said, and I'm quoting, the content of this book is crucial as it aims to shed light on the systemic failures that allow the trafficking of vulnerable individuals across borders. It is imperative that the truth is understood and the issues surrounding this topic are addressed, both for the sake of justice and awareness. Now, I have no doubt that this book was well vetted by attorneys before it was put into print. There's no telling what's going to be in it. Unfortunately, she could write whatever she wanted, and Andrew has no way to clap back because she's gone. This ought to be interesting. All right, let's move on to our next big story. All right, you guys, here is our last story for today, and it is a big one. If you can believe this, it's being reported by The Sun that Harry has started planning how he's going to mark Diana's 30th death anniversary by doing a 2027 documentary about Diana as part of their first look deal with Netflix. I'm like, this just shows you that they have nothing. They have nothing. Do you know how many documentaries and books and movies and shows have been written about Diana in nauseam? There's absolutely nothing that Harry can bring to the table about his mother that hasn't already been said everywhere. Now, it's also being reported that if this documentary gets the green light, and let's be honest, Netflix is absolutely going to do it, it likely, they're saying, will be a ratings winner for Netflix, although I don't believe that. Because how many times have we heard, what are they going to do? Put Meghan in there talking about her? Meghan never even met her. This is just absolutely ridiculous. We all know what he's going to do. He's going to do an inside account of the implosion of Charles and Diana's marriage and Harry's story, and I'm air quoting here, Harry's story of Diana's death and its aftermath. I don't see how he can when it's already been said by Harry that he doesn't remember a lot of things about his mom because he's already blocked it out of his mind. So how in the heck is Harry supposed to do anything, any kind of documentary about his mother and what happened when he fully admits he doesn't remember her? And then I started thinking, why is Harry always co-opting Diana's memory? Notice that William doesn't do that. Well, when you think about it, Harry hardly has any accomplishments in his own right. William is doing Earthshot, and he's got the homelessness, and he's got the Royal Foundation, and of course he's going to be king. And Harry, on the other hand, has nothing but to stand on, Diana's shoulder and go, look who was my mother. Look which family I belong to. Now, we know that in The Spare, Harry said that the official explanation of Diana's death was an insult, fanciful, riddled with factual errors and gaping logical holes, and it raised more questions than answered. So in an interview with the BBC earlier this year, he hinted again that he has a deep personal belief that there was more to his mother's death than a speeding drunk driver. And he said that the majority of people don't want history to repeat itself. And through the disclosure process, I've discovered that some people want history to repeat itself, which is pretty dark. This is where he's gone off and thinks, people want to kill his wife. When Harry and Meghan decided to step back from their royal duties, they took the money that was inside Princess Diana's memorial fund and they split it. So the part that William got went into the Royal Foundation. The part that Harry and Meghan got went we don't know where because it didn't appear that it was ever put into Archewell. So we don't know what happened to that money. The way Harry and Meghan have set up Archewell, it might be difficult to find the money, but the money should have been left in a separate account so that nobody could touch it. It should have gone for what it was supposed to go for, which is charity. So anyway, somebody asked if this was really going on, and the response was, we can't discuss it. It was not a denial. So that makes me think it's happening. Now, we do know that on the 20th anniversary of their death in 2017, Harry and William both said that they weren't going to discuss, their mother anymore. The idea was to say their piece and then walk away and leave Diana in the past in good, positive memories. Does that make sense? But of course, that hasn't happened with Harry. Harry has tried to make money from Diana, whereas William said that he always just wanted Diana to be proud of him. He didn't want all her love and caring to go to waste. He was bound and determined to make her proud. It is being reported if Harry goes ahead with this, he could be facing enormous danger when it comes to the reconciliation with his royal relatives. They also said that if Harry wants to do it, Netflix is going to bite his hand off. What they're saying is that Diana was legendary, glamorous, charitable, but she was also manipulative and had a fatefully symbiotic relationship with the media, and that the War of the Waleses between her and Charles, which ended in divorce, was ferocious at the time. And if this documentary features anything controversial, Harry can forget about any reconciliation whatsoever. And this program, especially now that Camilla, who Diana regarded as a rival, is now queen consort, this has massive problems for Harry. So if peace is essential, then this documentary shouldn't happen. If it's going to happen, Harry can kiss his family goodbye. And finally, you should know that Meghan also allegedly, supposedly proposed to Netflix a travel series where she is a critic with tips and tricks on where to go, where to stay, and what to see. So allegedly she proposed it. Netflix said no, but they had just finished With Love, Meghan 2, but she wanted Netflix to film her while she traveled around the world. Yeah, and Netflix said no. Smart move for once. Oh my goodness, you guys know I want your comments. Make them good. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Then go down into the description box where you'll find the link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, a link to my second channel, a link to my father's book, which is still up for sale on Amazon, and a link to my Amazon wish list, as well as a physical address. For those of you that have donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.